Hey guys, welcome to How to Do Computers. I'm Mike, and today we're going over a slightly different topic than usual, and that is dealing with unwanted calendar invites or calendar spam as an admin. As far as I've seen, this is an issue primarily affecting Microsoft 365 users, so this will be a solution aimed at Microsoft 365 admins in particular. I haven't found many resources on how to handle this, and Microsoft is pretty slow with their response on this issue. So I decided to make a video addressing how I'm dealing with it in my environment currently for some users until some new tools are produced to handle this threat. So we're all familiar with email spam, and it's become relatively easy to deal with various tools and techniques, but recently it's become popular for bad actors to utilize calendar invites to bypass traditional anti-spam filters. As they do this, they're able to attach potentially malicious files to those meeting invites, and therefore the user may be tricked into opening them. So here I have the calendar of an affected user. At the top here, we can see that there are two suspicious looking calendar invites. If we open it, we'll see that it does have the same sort of look and feel to it as traditional spam, and it may even appear to come from a legitimate source. Here we're seeing MS Online Service Team at center.microsoft.com. Oftentimes the headers may be spoofed to show that it originated from a legitimate email address, and sometimes it'll even show up as originating from yourself. So first off, do not interact with any of these directly. That means don't accept or decline the meeting, and don't open the attachments. Any of this interaction may result in the user's email address being marked as a valid target for attack. The best way to get rid of them off of the calendar is to delete them. This, however, won't stop new ones from coming in. And here at the bottom, we can actually see the payload. It is a .htm file that is attached to the meeting itself. In this particular case, this is a phishing attempt where the user is instructed to scan a QR code with their mobile device, where they will be directed to a web page attempting to steal their credentials. Many of the proposed solutions I've seen for this involve making individual rules for each sender, or to simply mark them as spam and cross your fingers that Microsoft's system somehow learns that this is spam. But I found that pretty unhelpful for a variety of reasons. For one, as mentioned before, the headers can be spoofed to look like the sender is a legitimate user, even showing up as yourself. So if you set up a forwarding rule that treats a legitimate user, particularly in your organization, as spam, then that can cause other complications, such as missing communications from other users in the environment. So this won't work. I'm going to reiterate here that what I'm doing is not a permanent solution, and it does come with a drawback. So make sure that you communicate and let your users know what's happening. Since this typically happens with just a handful of users in my environment, I've decided to apply this on a per-user basis rather than finding a way to modify the entire tenant. The behavior that causes this is from Outlook's AutomateProcessing setting. In short, by default, Outlook automatically adds any incoming meeting to your calendar under a tentative flag, as you can see at the top here. This is intended to mitigate scheduling conflicts and to help users not miss meetings. In theory, this is an excellent idea, but in practice, it's being used as an exploit by bad actors. So we need to change how Outlook handles incoming invites. Herein lies the drawback of the workaround. If we change the default way that calendar invites are processed in Outlook, it makes it so that the user will now have to manually accept invites as they enter their inbox as emails. Make sure to discuss this with your users and that they understand this change. In my case, the users in question were receiving enough of these that it was worth the extra hassle. So, now for the fix. The setting that we're going to change actually used to be available in the UI of older versions of Outlook and the Outlook web app, but has since been hidden by Microsoft. The setting still exists, but now we'll need to change it via the ExchangeOnline PowerShell module. If you don't have that, we'll go ahead and go through setting it up quickly. So let's go ahead and open up PowerShell as an admin. And as usual, any scripts used in this video will be available in the description down below. So the first thing we're going to do is allow script execution using this code right here. Then we're going to install NuGet and PowerShellGet. Then we can install the ExchangeOnlineManagement PowerShell module. And finally, we can go ahead and verify that it's installed properly. All right. And before we continue, I'll go ahead and note that the account that you're using to connect with will need to have either Exchange admin or global admin privileges. So let's go ahead and connect using that account. And then it should prompt you to authenticate that account with a password and your multi-factor authentication method. All right, we're connected. We'll hit enter once to bring up the command line. And here we're going to pick a user and just quickly check the status of the automate processing setting. And here you can see it's set to auto update, which is the setting that allows these spam calendar invites to be automatically added to your calendar. And so we'll use this script right here to change that setting. You can ignore that error. And if you check the status of that automated processing setting, you'll see that now it's set to none. If you or your users ever decide that they want this setting to be reversed, you can modify the script by changing none to auto update at the end. And then you check once more, and it's set back to auto update. For now, I'm going to leave it set to none, as this user has specifically requested that I make these changes. Now we'll simply disconnect from Exchange Online, hit Y for yes, and then we're done. That should be all for now. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, run into any issues, or if you have ideas for content or videos that you'd like to see in the future, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.